Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Rashi Himalio and today I want to talk to you about the Charlotte Tilbury and the Gucci bronzer. Now I want to give you an updated review of both of these, and if you're interested in buying them, which one should you pick? So I've had the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer for just over 6 months and the Gucci bronzer for just over 4 months, and I have continued to wear these bronzers to see how they stack up against some of my other amazing bronzers. If you haven't seen my top bronzer video, make sure to watch that because I've got like 11 bronzers in there that I absolutely love for my skin tone. If you've seen my initial review for the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, it was a bit harsh. Yeah, I know. I feel like it was the shade medium that really let me down, and shade 10 is beautiful. I love it. I wish I had just bought shade 10. Shade medium didn't really work for me, but it was good. At least you guys were able to see what medium looked like on my skin tone. So I want to quickly swatch these two on my cheeks today, and then let's have a chat about these bronzers. So the first up is the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade 10. So I'm taking my Shiseido brush in T2. I'm just going to do a quick tap and pop that on. So you can see color straight away. So this is something I got really frustrated with medium. I couldn't see color. I would build and build and build, and it was just very difficult to get pigment to show up. However, with 10, I don't have to worry about that. Now I'm bringing it all the way towards my cheek, just because I want to show you how this bronzer sits on top of texture. And I've got a bit of texture right here. So this is Charlotte Tilbury shade 10. I've got it on my cheek right up onto the blush area, and I've also got it on my forehead right here. You can see just from the color, it's actually a really beautiful color. And I'm a little bit tan at the moment, so this bronzer works great for me in my tan skin. Now, can you see how this bronzer has helped to smooth out the texture on my cheeks? So I definitely have texture on my cheeks. I've got texture here, here, here. Some breakouts looks like they're about to come through, and just overall general texture. And this bronzer definitely has helped to smooth them out a little bit. Nothing dramatic, nothing insane, but absolutely it does help with texture, which is fantastic. Now on the other side, I'm going to pop in Gucci bronzer, and I'm going to change my brush for Gucci. So Gucci is not as pigmented as the shade 10 from Charlotte Tilbury, so I'm going to be taking a more denser brush. This is Shiseido T4. Blend. So this is the shade medium, and even right now I'm tanned. This shade shows up on me straight away. Of course, it helps that I'm using a denser brush, so it's not a super sheer application. But I love that this bronzer has enough depth to show up on me. This is the Gucci bronzer. So we've got Charlotte Tilbury and we've got Gucci. In terms of cheek texture, I have a couple of breakouts here as well, a little bit of texture on this side, but overall the Gucci bronzer sits really well on top of my texture as well. In the past though, I have noticed that if I have a lot of texture, Charlotte Tilbury works better than the Gucci. However, if you don't have a lot of texture, just a few breakouts, you know, something similar to perhaps what I have, maybe a little bit more, you'll be fine. Now let's talk about the shimmer in the Gucci bronzer. It's not as much as in the first month when I was trying this out. It is definitely reduced. Now on my cheek, that shimmer isn't really visible. I don't really see it. However, in my forehead, the shimmer sort of comes through. It's fine golden shimmer. Which one is more long lasting? Both of them are. Both of these bronzers stay on my skin for a full day. They don't budge. Which one helps with texture? Definitely the Charlotte Tilbury, but I find that the Gucci is quite smoothing as well. In terms of how they feel and apply on the skin, both of them blend beautifully. Both of them apply beautifully. The Charlotte Tilbury has a bit of a drier powder texture. It doesn't affect its ability to blend, however. It's very smooth. I've never experienced any patchiness with this. Then with the Gucci, it has a beautiful creamy texture. So this is a creamy powder. It again applies beautifully. I've never had so far any issues using the Gucci as well. Which one has a better undertone? So that depends on what your preference is. I've just done swatches of these two bronzers. Now you can tell that the top one right here, that's your Charlotte Tilbury tan. And then this one is your Gucci. So Charlotte Tilbury tan is definitely a lot darker, a lot deeper than the Gucci. However, both of these shades show up on me beautifully, as you can see from the cheek swatches. The Gucci one definitely has a lot of those golden undertones, so you can see that gold undertone coming through. And then the Charlotte Tilbury looks like a little bit of a neutral, more caramel bronzer shade. So I can see some neutral tones in here, whereas here it is pretty golden. And I think that's how it looks on my cheek as well. So the Charlotte Tilbury looks like a beautiful neutral toffee colored bronzer on me. However, the Gucci side looks a little bit warmer, more golden toned. So it really depends on color preferences that you like for your skin. If you don't like bronzers that are very warm, I suggest avoid the Gucci. Don't get the medium shade because, as you can see, it is pretty warm. Both of these are excellent bronzers. I have come to really love both of these, even though initially I wasn't a big fan. And I'm really happy to say that I've been immensely enjoying using both of these bronzers. But it's a difficult decision. If you're trying to decide between which one to pick, also think about price, because Charlotte Tilbury is cheaper than Gucci. Also, you get 16 grams of product in Charlotte Tilbury, whereas you get 12 grams in the Gucci. However, the packaging in the Gucci takes the cake. What I love about the Charlotte Tilbury is the huge size. You get a lot of product in here. Shade tan is beautiful on my skin tone. It gives me that caramel look that isn't too warm. It smooths out my texture, and it's a shade that I know I can use all year round. Now with the Gucci, I love the finish of this. It is a creamy powder. I have a special affinity for bronzers that are creamy in application. So the fact that this is a creamy powder, whew, that kind of just wins my heart. I also love the shade medium. It looks like a beautiful golden tone on me. I do worry though that as I continue to tan in summer, I may not be able to use this. I'm not entirely sure. However, at the moment, it gives me a lot of color. It looks really beautiful and natural on the skin, and it's also a little bit smoothing, which is fantastic. You don't get as much product in this as the Charlotte Tilbury, however, the packaging, let's just say, is stunning. The Gucci also has a little bit of that golden shimmer. So I think at the end of the day, what really sets the two of these apart is what type of texture you're looking for. If you hate shimmer, if you hate any kind of shimmer in your bronzers, go for the Charlotte Tilbury. If you don't mind shimmer, then I'm gonna say go for the Gucci. But you know what, you guys? If you were to buy either of these, I don't think you probably won't be disappointed. The only caveat though is what shade you get, and that's probably going to be the important part. For me and for my skin tone, these are the two shades that I recommend: tan in Charlotte Tilbury and medium in Gucci. But of course, watch other videos as well, because bronzers will look different on people with different undertones. So it's not even about just skin color, it's also about undertones. For example, watch Kinky Sweats if you haven't already. Alicia from Kinky Sweat did a bronzer video on the Charlotte Tilbury. On her, shade medium looked great. That's not how it looked like on me. On me, shade medium just looked really muddy and unflattering. On her though, shade medium looked amazing. Now her and I are similar in skin color with a slight difference. However, her undertone is completely different. So I am yellow olive undertones. She is far more neutral than me. She has less yellow in her skin. I don't believe she has any olive in her skin. Also, her undertone looks like it may lean a little bit pink as well. So on her, medium bronzer looked amazing. whereas on me, it looked terrible. So when you're deciding on the shades, it really depends on what undertone you are. But if you've got yellow, really warm, olive undertones, I recommend shade 10. As for Gucci, I don't know what the other shades in the Gucci look like. I believe the next shade up has a lot more red to it, and that's the reason why I didn't purchase that one. For me, this shade is pretty much perfection. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I definitely wanted to do an update on these bronzers because I feel like as I've continued to use them, I have gotten to really love both of them. Your continued support has been enormous, and I really appreciate every single one of you. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you know when my videos go up. And I'll see you guys in my next video.